Hey, what's up? It's JusNik, WBLS. So I'm excited to have this guest with me today. If you didn't know, Mary J. Blige is putting out another edition. You know, she likes to put out movies of her hits, all right? She had Real Love, Strength of a Woman, and Family Affair is premiering on Lifetime. And here hanging out with me today is the one and only Da Vinci, also known as Ben. How are you?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you for having me on it.
Brooklyn is in the house.
Right.
BK, what it do?
Chilling. What up?
And you're also from Jersey.
I lived in Jersey as well. Brooklyn,
Okay.
Jersey, and Florida.
How was that experience?
I think it's, like I say, I feel like Jersey is like the little brother to New York. So it's mad similar, and sometimes people from Jersey, they try to act a little more gangster in New York just to show New York that
Oh,
they're not
word?
the only ones, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
That's what's up. So is that where you get like most of your swag, would you say, from?
New York, I would say New York. I mean, honestly, from like everywhere.
Yeah, because you spent time in Florida too.
Yeah.
So why did you move around so much? Was it for the acting or?
Nah, I just started acting like 7 years ago. So
Really?
yeah, that was just life. And I was like getting in trouble, doing terrible in school. I was just a badass kid. You know, I was a bad kid. I got like arrested when I was 13, just doing dumb shit. Just
Yeah.
being influenced by the gangsters around you and just trying to be something that you feel like the world respects and wants you to be.
And what made you take the turn?
When I moved to Florida. When I moved to Florida and started living with my father, I was in a predominantly white high school, so that changed a lot. That changed me a lot. I was seeing lifestyles and families and things that I've never seen before, so it was just turning my brain in a different direction. I was like, yo, some people actually are like, you know, cordial and like they behave like this and they do that. And then even like some black families that I was seeing, a few black people that was there, I was like, yeah, they're more cordial. So I was just able to see better examples in front of me. And then the teachers, they cared a little more. Like, I remember this, my elementary, I don't even want to say the school, but I remember the teacher, she was like, most of y'all are gonna end up, you know, dead or in jail or probably like in last resort going to the army or working at McDonald's.
Wow.
Yeah, I want to be so funny in class and da and not realize like this is gonna be your future. And then when I went to a different school, it was on some like, yo, you could push yourself to be X, Y, Z and whatever. And it was just a better environment for you to grow in better directions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We are a product of our environment. So,
sure.
and I thoroughly believe that you have to leave where you came from to see what else is out there, because there's so much more to life than the neighborhood. You know, a lot of people never leave where they grew up and where they was raised. So
Absolutely.
that's pretty dope. So you started acting 7 years ago. When did you figure out that you can act? Because that's not easy to do.
No, it's definitely not, but I feel like I was doing music, and then while doing music, you know, my manager at the time was just like, yo, you should like, you ever think about acting? I was like, hell yeah, I would love to act. Like, that's fire. And then, you know, we had a conversation. It was like, yo, that'll help with stage presence and and just becoming more confident. So I was like, yeah, why not? So I started doing it, and I started falling in love with that as well. I've always had a passion for acting, though. I remember I took it as an elective in college, and I was like, nah, this is dope. And then at the same time, music, I was like, bro, this music ain't it. Like, it was just like, it was too controlled, and it was like, it was too much of a direct pushing to, or playing to this audience or to this lifestyle that I worked so hard to get away from, to where it's like, they really want you to talk about certain things in your music. They want you to promote certain things that is destruction to our community. So I was just like, you know what, I'm cool. And not to say that certain projects in acting do that, but I feel like you have more of an option to where you can say yes or no to that, and you can still have a pretty good career without that. But like in music, it's like, it's, you know, if you want to have some hits, you want to, you know what I'm saying, then most likely you're going to be in that scenario. So I was just like, you know what, I'm cool. I'm going to start doing this, and by the grace of God, acting took off.
Wow. And you're really good at it.
Appreciate it.
So let's talk about Family Affair. So one, how did you get picked for that role from the first one?
I think Mary and Sony and them was just like, yo, we like him and he's great. And then it was like, and then my team had a conversation with them, and it was just an offer. So I don't really know how.
Right.
You know,
Did you get a chance to work with her?
Married? Before the movie? Yeah. We worked together before the movie and had conversations before the movie. And then when I was doing Broadway, she saw me on Broadway. Like, Mary's like, that's family.
Yeah, she's
that's
so
my
down to
dog.
earth. I
Yeah, she
love
cool
her.
as hell.
She in her bag right now.
Right,
Okay, in her
right.
bag.
Facts,
So, tell me
facts.
about this role that you play with Ben. He's an interesting character.
Yeah.
How was that role for you?
It was a fun role. And his character, Ben, you know, he's an attorney. They met in college, and he's like a law student, and then now he's like doing his thing as an attorney working at one of the biggest firms. But the character was fun because, one, I don't know what it's like to be in my 30s, to be in my mid-30s, and to have a kid and to have a job like that. So this was the first time I've ever played a character that I've never even experienced anything from that life. But you could just pick and choose from other stuff that you see. So it was kind of fire. And I was able to just, you know, create my own, you know, world around this, which was kind of like fire. It's like, yo, damn, it's not based off a real character. So I get to really just play.
That makes it even more harder though, because you haven't experienced that. I mean,
that's
this
true.
Is a grown man, you know, like
yeah,
you said,
no,
with
that's
a
a
child.
That's a good point. Yeah, but I feel like I saw enough. I was like taking from different data that my brain is probably saved in there, and I was just like, I think I know what this guy would be like.
Do you feel like that's how you would be as a father?
I think a little more. Nah, I mean, because the network don't allow him to do certain things, so I think I would be a little more like a little probably more edgy.
A little more edgy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think you know, because of the network, Ben is limited. There's certain things that he can say.
Right.
You know, so I think I'll be more free and more like, you know, yeah.
And how was it working with Adriana?
Oh, Adriana's dope. That's my dog, man. That's my homie. I've known her outside of this project, so it made it great. She's a great actress. She's been doing this for like forever. You know, I grew up like watching Adriana. You know, so I'm like, damn, this is like crazy. Like, it's 13 Reasons Why, girl. Like, we're doing this, yeah.
Right. Oh, you was fanned out just a little bit.
No. I wasn't. I've known her because of BMF. So we worked together on BMF. So I wasn't. I'm not. There's only probably like one person that I was like fanned out by.
Who's that?
It was 50. 50 and Mary. I'm not gonna lie, and Snoop. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, yo, like, but like people that's like, come on, we're the same age, like, or like, nah, I don't, because I don't really watch TV like that anymore. But like, I'm fan out. If you made it before like 2015, 2010s, like, I'm like, yo, that's crazy. But I still like give everyone the respect because I know I try not to bother people.
Yeah, that part. Do you have any like funny moments that happen on set? Whether it's you and Adriana or.
Oh man, we definitely have a lot of funny moments. She's like a sister boy. We be arguing. Adriana,
like a real couple, huh?
Yeah. Like siblings wise though. She, you know, sometimes she have an interesting way of seeing the world, and I have a different way of seeing the world. So our behind the scenes conversations would just be funny as hell. And I'm not gonna say anything because she'll be mad as hell. So I ain't gonna say anything. Adriana, you got it, queen. You got it.
That's hilarious. So can you share us, like, what's the theme, do you feel, of this particular installment?
I think this movie is more about like the first one, they was falling in love. The ending was the ending. Then the second one, they got back together and married. And then now this is like the part, I feel like in movies that they usually don't show is like happily ever after, but it's like they don't really show the like what's happening in that. So now I feel like you get to see firsthand like what the love story of these two characters would be. Like you know how like most love stories that you watch,
yes,
it's like you don't see that. You're like, what would be the next movie?
I say that all the time.
Like what, you know?
Even with like cartoons and things like
yes,
Cinderella
exactly.
and Sleeping Beauty is like, all right, well,
what
you
they
woke
doing
her
now?
up
Like,
now.
yeah.
Does he get on her nerves? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Do they
right.
vibe? I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's what it's like, and it's dope, and it's just like showing the sacrifices that you got to make when you have a family, and I think one of the dopest parts about this movie is like not often do you get to see black people just existing and have nothing to do with them being black.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people that are of African descent that are living lives, working good jobs, not and living in a world that is like their color isn't thrown in their face all the time. So, but a lot of the content that we produce, for some reason, it always has to be something centered around black people, slavery, police brutality, something black, to where it's like, and it gives people like Europeans this preconceived notion of us that we're always in this state of struggle, or this is always happening, or this da. So sometimes when there's projects that's produced that have nothing to do with that, they're like, oh my God, they could just exist. It's like, yeah, motherfucker, like, yes, we can just exist. So I think it's amazing. And another thing is like, this movie is big on family, and I think the family nucleus is one of the important relationships that a man or woman could have after, you know, your relationship with God. And I think that brings a peace that's beyond our understanding. So to see any project that promotes the family nucleus is amazing, because that is the only reason why majority of families and, you know, companies and that they're so successful, and that's how empires are built. But for some reason, our community specifically, we tend to denounce and denote it, or just like we villainize family. Like it's like we do not want to like a relationship. Like, no, I'm gonna be a bad bitch and take first with my career. I'm not gonna have a man. Man's like F woman, da da da. It's like, yo, dude, like there's a piece in that that would help with so much. But you know, so I could go on and on about this, because I really like low-key got like a PhD in this. Me and the Surgeon General talked about this.
Really?
Yeah, he just finished serving his 2 terms in office, and I didn't really know what the Surgeon General did in Congress, but he's basically like if there's ever like a crisis going on, anything health-wise, like right now, the mental health crisis in America is becoming a big thing.
Yeah.
And so they put a mandate out, and then he was doing a tour last year about it. So, you know, sitting down and having these conversations with people of that caliber and see their line of work is just like, oh my God, like, and the mental health crisis has always been a huge thing in the black community, but the reason why it's becoming a worldwide crisis, especially in our country, is because of the amount of Caucasians that's being clinically diagnosed. But it's just like, which is making them now accept like the trauma from slavery and the systematic racism trauma that's coming out of slavery from black people. So sitting down talking with him, and then just seeing certain studies and certain statistics, I'm just like, oh my God, like, and the family nucleus is like one of the most important things. Like mostly, there's a lot of stabilized countries that they like prioritize this. So to me, like being tied us back to the movie, like to be a part of a movie that is doing that, I'm like, bro, this is the real work here, because propaganda is so powerful, man. If they want to, when anything want to be like, if you want to sell a product or whatever, it's actors that do it first. You know, you'll see it first on a TV screen, and the next thing you're like, oh shit, we got iPhones. Yeah. And then there's a new shoe or new whatever, it's celebrities that's selling it. So when you start realizing that, you start seeing like, yo, damn, it's so good when something's promoting something good. You're like, wow, people could really sit home and watch this with their families and be like, yo, I want that one day.
There's so many gems and nuggets in what you just said. It's so deep too. You're not even 30 yet?
No. Well, we can't talk about age only because it hurts you with acting. Because if I try to play an older role, then they're like, no, he's too young. And if I want to play a young role, they're like, well, nah, he's right there. But if they just see you, they're like, yeah, he can play this.
Yeah, you're just so very well spoken.
No, I appreciate
that. So
it's
crazy that, you know, you was mentioning your upbringing and saying you was getting in trouble a lot, but were you making good grades?
No, I was definitely a D's and F student.
But you're so capable of A's though.
But
so
I graduated high school with a 4.1 GPA, which is crazy, but a product of my environment. So when I was like up north, like I was really like, the first time I ever sold drugs, I was in 5th grade. True story. And it's like, and I would never promote that. And anyone who sit down and watch the video, I'm not about to promote that like, yo, that's hard, bro. I was gangster. It's like, no, this gangster shit is the dumbest thing in the world. It's like, there's only a few that's ever successful. And if you're gonna really do it, you should do it the way like the good white folks do it. Like that level of gangster, like you'll own empires, you know what I'm saying? You'll own corporations, but the hood gangsters, about 1.0001% of them make it out. And it's just like, and when you do, you have a paranoia that is just insane. And then you want to like kill yourself at a certain point because you're so paranoid. You know, so it's just like, I would never promote that life. I would never sit here and be like, yo, that's, you know, there's other ways around it, but sometimes, you know, Benjamin Franklin said it best, I believe. He said, poverty is the mother of all crime. So it's like when you don't know better, you're just trying to eat, you know what I'm saying? You're just gonna try to snatch a meal whatever way you can. So I would never glorify that. But yeah, I was in that lifestyle, but as soon as my environment changed, then I changed. I realized when people started insulting my intelligence based on how I spoke around when I was around white people, and I was like, damn, they think I'm ignorant. I'm like, bro, I speak 3 languages. English ain't even my first language.
What do you speak?
I speak French, Creole, and English, and a little bit of Spanish. Like
Okay.
I'm actually like, yeah, I'm kind of nice with the Spanish too. But cause I'm first generation, so it's like, but I'm sitting in these classrooms and, you know, people is like making fun of me. I'm like, bro, like what? Like, cause of my vernacular, and I'm just like, I could speak how you speak. I just choose not to. I'm like,
Right.
I bet. So then I was like, let me lock in. So then all my classes changed. I started taking AP English, algebra honors, and I ended up graduating summa cum laude, top of my
Wow.
class. And then I was like, man, this
That's
cool
a
shit's
flex
cap.
right
Yeah.
there. That's a flex.
Yeah.
I
Appreciate
love
that.
this story though. I love your journey. I feel like you're just not even, there's no limit to where you can go. Just from how you
Thank
speak,
you.
like I can see motivational speaking for you, maybe even
Wow,
some
thank
books
you.
down the line.
Definitely, in the name of Jesus.
That's fire. Speaking of that, do you consider yourself a religious man, a spiritual? And I'll tell you why. Because one, I peeped your outfit, which is fly, but I see the crosses on your pants, and there's a cross on your glasses, and I think I saw a cross on your chain.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So it's being represented. I love it, by the way.
Right. No, definitely. So these crosses are it's this brand. Shout out to Subi. They gave me some fire stuff. This is Australian brand. And these aren't like the religious crosses, and it's the same glasses, but this actual cross, yes. I'm definitely a believer, and I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in God. And I think that there's some great principles and wisdom that's from that book.
Yeah,
and
you seem
I
very
think the world
grounded.
would be a much better place if we all accepted that reality. And I think it'll allow us to, it'll believe it in a higher power, especially God. For me, it's like it single-handedly stabilizes you mentally. So it's like a lot of the mental health crisis in this country, a lot of it comes from us not believing in anything no more. We put a lot of the weight of the world on ourselves. Like, this battle is not ours. And when you understand that and you place it on a power that's greater than you, it alleviates the suffering. But like, it's like if you're going to war and it's just you going to war against me and all my peoples, you're like, damn. But if you realize you got a higher power and you got people on your back, you
Right.
like, you gonna come to work like, you know what, I'm JusNik, like I'm chilling. Like, it's not, you know, like you cast your burdens onto the Lord, and I think that just lets you know that, you know, everything is gonna be okay, and then you're just a vessel at the end of the day. Like, I'm just a steward of this. If I act up, I do something stupid, next man's gonna take my place. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. It's nothing special. Like, I just see life for what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and I think my belief and my upbringing and just being brought up in poverty, it just shows you like what actually matters. You know, so.
What was the family dynamic? Because you said you went to live with your father.
Yeah. So my parents, definitely, I was born to divorced parents, and it was a struggle. It was like 5 of us in the house. My mom made probably like $30,000 a year. My grandma ain't speak lick of English, didn't work. So you already know, like, off of that salary, excuse me, with all those kids in the house, it's just like, ain't nothing good that's coming out of that. You know what I'm saying? But my mom is a big church goer. She's actually like a pastor now. And she's been preaching the word of God to us for.
You're PK.
Yeah. No, but not, like, now she is.
Right.
Now she
technically.
is. But it's just like growing up, she wasn't, but she was so heavily involved in the church. So it's like we always got, you know, the messages brought to us. But like, I ran away from God at one point. I was like, man, you don't know what you're talking about. But from her perspective, the way she was talking about it didn't resonate with me. And then as I, you know, started becoming a man and maturing, you know, you still have those words in your subconscious mind, you know. And she did a great job at beating that in me, because now I was able to see God in a different way. And like, this relationship I have with God is like, it definitely is rooted from her, but it's completely different from what she'll ever like imagine. But she's so happy about it.
I love that.
Yeah.
And did you have to unlearn anything? Because most of the time, you know, there's statistics for people who grow up in divorced households, and most of them wouldn't turn out to be you. So
Yeah, no, that's real. That's real. And honestly, it's the grace of God. You know, I'm definitely a product of grace. You know, I think given my circumstances and given what happened to the people around me, like I'm well aware that I'm not supposed to be here, statistically speaking. But, you know, God will do things that man could never comprehend. So by that grace, I feel obliged to keep learning as to how to not just produce anomalies. Because if you keep producing anomalies, you're gonna fail statistically. Like, anomalies, that's like a 0.0, that's like flipping a nickel and it lands like this. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to keep producing that. You want to produce, you just throw a coin on the floor and it lay flat. That's successful. You know what I'm saying? So I started learning like things that I feel like my family just didn't know because they were just so focused on meeting the basic needs of survival that they missed certain psychological needs, social needs, and just certain spiritual things and spiritual components. And so I've definitely read a lot and was just learning like how to live in a way that, like closer to the way that the Creator intended. You know what I'm saying? I think the closer you are to God, the closer to your to nature, your body is actually functioning at more of an optimal level. You know what I'm saying? And science can back that with all their studies. You know, the more you're in tune with God, it's like you're happier. You don't need antidepressants. You don't need to self-medicate. You don't need to have the latest thing or drive the latest cars. Like there's this peace that, again, is just beyond our understanding.
Definitely. I'm a strong woman of faith, so I absolutely agree with everything you're saying. I do feel like that would help a lot of the mental issues that we spoke about briefly as well. I just love how mature you are.
Thank you.
And so balanced. That. Kudos to you. And I feel like
it's not because I'm a Libra.
So off record, you know, I had already spotted that he was a Libra. You know, he's very intelligent. All the Libras I know love to read. Okay, they're knowledge seekers. I'm a Sag too. We knowledge seekers as well. So shout out to all the Libras out there. But I like just the balance that you have. A lot of people go through life and don't find that till like late in their age, you know, like in their 50s and things like that. So for you to recognize that now and have a good balance, that's amazing.
No, thank you.
That's amazing. And
I appreciate that.
I feel like that comes across when you're acting. So kind of reeling it back into the movie, which you guys have to see. It's coming out on Lifetime January. Is it 25th?
January
25th. So make sure you are locked in. Now, let's say that there's another installment and they bring Ben back. What would you like to see happen between Ben and Kendra?
What would I like to see happen between Ben and Kendra? I can't say this because then that's ruining something. I want to see their family grow. Yeah, they grow and they just flourish. Maybe we're grandparents now with like mad kids. And
that would be interesting.
Like on some and I put on like the old people cosmetic. That would be fire actually. I would enjoy that, yeah. Something like that. Like us being like old, like real old.
Yeah, I love it. Well, congratulations to you and your career that's really just kicking off and the sky's the limit for you. What do you want to tell your fans? What do you have coming up? Some collaborations, maybe new movies?
Definitely some movies, doing more shows. Can't really talk about any of that. So I would just say, BMF is coming out, Family Affairs coming out, and I would just say, man, just God bless, man, and just take care of yourself, take care of your mind, take care of your spirit, your soul, whatever you want to call it, and just prioritize your relationship with God, because I feel like the world is going through a lot right now, and there's definitely solutions, although we may not think there is, but I think we need to stop relying on man so much and go to something above it, and I think that it'll bring a peace.
I love that. Thank you guys so much for watching Da Vinci Family Affair, January 25th on Lifetime. Shout out to Mary J. Blige. Thanks for watching.